Are you listening to your ears? The corn could be talking to you. Hi, Jonah Johnson with PCT Sunrise. Welcome back to another PCT Short. So this week, if you're walking your cornfields, three things I wanted to bring to your attention that you could be looking at as you're scouting your cornfields. Aside is disease presence, with this field has a lot of gray leaf spot in it, and it's probably scheduled for a fungicide application very soon. Three other things you can look at in regards to pollination synchrony and ear set and how are those ears looking right now. So as you're walking your fields, first thing we can do a in-field pregnancy test. So what you can do is you're pulling ears, and as you see on your screen, carefully dissect those ears, cut the base off before you get to the butt of the ear. Carefully pull back those leaf sheaths on the ear itself, and as you shake those silks on the ear, silks that fall off will have fertilized successfully, so you can kind of get a gauge on how well or what place you are in regards to how far along you are in your pollination process out in your fields. So remember, pollen falls from the pollen granules, hits those silks, travel down those silk tubes, and within 24 hours that silk tube collapses on that ovule once it's fertilized. Hence it collapses and lets that silk go. Hence when you shake those ears, when it falls off those ovules, now a fertilized kernel lets you know your percent success and where to go. Now, some things that can interrupt that this time of year can be very common. So if you're in an area with western corn rootworm beetles, and then also everywhere else, Japanese beetles, they really love that lush tissue. They can clip those silks really low. And if you're with a ½ inch or less, that could warrant an insecticide application if you don't have that planned with your aerial application already. And you also see when those get clipped, that can also interrupt our kernel set and interrupt ultimately yield if insect pressure is really, really bad. Another thing you can see out there right now is that kernels on the ear that didn't fertilize, they'll draw back at the tip typically and come back. So if that was interrupted from something out in the field, whether it was insects, Mother Nature, a hail event, what have you, that got and interfered with those silks receiving pollen successfully to fertilize that ear, then you'll notice the drawback on those kernels. And if it's really severe, you can see it in other places on the ear set as well. The final thing I'll leave you with is you can also use this as a gauge on your nitrogen, for example, or overall nutrition. If you see kernels that pollinated, you'll see a yellow color to them, but they look like a pimple, or they've drawn back and kind of squishy and not full ample kernels like you'd see at the rest of the ear, then we can tell that's typically regarding nutrition and most likely a nitrogen deficiency. So if you're in an area where it's been very dry and hot, that also can impede the pollination process, and we've seen that in several places. In Southwest Ohio is an example where we've had not very much rain and it was very, very hot the last 2 weeks, and especially where we had gravelly based soil, sands and what have you, they couldn't support those during the pollination, because remember, silks are almost 90% water, and the pollen grains are about 65 to 70% water. So things to look for while you're out in your field as you're scouting as we move forward. So for more, follow us on X or PCTnutrients.com. I'm Jonah Johnson. Thanks for watching.